right, I'll bring in now our panelists, Adam Guillette, president of Accuracy of Media, and our panelists, Victoria and Joe as well. Good to see everyone here. Adam, I'll go with you on this. As Amanda was just pointing out, you saw how this was covered. We saw what we saw at the Capitol. We actually saw all year, but somehow it's covered differently. Why is that?
Well, because they're obviously going to back up their allies. The activists in the media are joining arms with the activists in the streets. These are the same people who not only justified the Black Lives Matter protests, but they've been justifying violence for decades. We remember Bill Ayers and the Weathermen set off a bomb in the Capitol building. Yet Bill Ayers gets paid with our tax dollars to speak on college campuses. The guy mentored Obama. He became a bit of a media darling. So it's impossible to take their outrage over the Capitol protests seriously.
Joe, I'll throw this one to you as well. Your thoughts on it and how it's portrayed over the summers. You saw what happened in Seattle, with Portland, with Minneapolis, and so many others, and then how it's covered at the Capitol.
Well, this is the double standard. There's nothing that we can do about it with the mainstream media because they are going to continue to maintain this double standard. Now, we all know that what happened at the Capitol the other day was an abomination, and everybody associated with that who was involved in the violence should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, no matter who they support. The unfortunate part of this is that when the rioting and the destruction of business occurred on the West Coast and in other cities around the country, nothing was said about it by the media, and more particularly, nothing was said about it by almost all Democrats. And that is because there is a double standard. And we're seeing it operate right now in the way what happened on Capitol Hill is being treated. There's no excuse for anything that happened on Capitol Hill, but there was also no excuse for anything that happened in Portland, Seattle, Chicago, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And Kamala went out and raised bond money for these rioters and looters in these cities. Emma, you mentioned in the last hour about David Dorn. I know I'm not talking to Emma right now, but she's on set. And about David Dorn, the retired black police officer in St. Louis who was murdered.
Yeah, St. Louis outside that pawn shop.
There was not a peep out of any of the Democrats. It's very frightening.
Well, to go past that point, there were so many other attacks on so many officers across the country, and it took so long to denounce. I remember opening some shows saying it's been so many days since this person hasn't denounced the violence. And yet it's a much different picture today. Adam, I'll throw this one to you because it does seem like there's a lot of folks, as far as Trump goes, that they don't want to just remove the man from office. They want to eliminate the guy from public life, albeit from what you saw with social media, but also others that want to use his company, his name. I believe a PGA Tour won't be featured on one of his places as well. And it doesn't stop there, this elimination process of Trump.
Well, that's exactly right. And the hypocrisy continues with things like the PGA Tour, things like Twitter. The PGA Tour has no problem partnering with China, the same China that keeps Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. Twitter allows the Ayatollah, they allow Maduro, they allow Putin to use their platform. They allow communist China to post ridiculous propaganda. Just last week, the Chinese embassy tweeted about the success of their concentration camps. So these folks want to remove all conservative voices from mainstream society while simultaneously having no problem with horrible, terrible, totalitarian voices being involved in our society. It's beyond hypocrisy. It's disgusting, and we need to be active against it.
All right, Joe, I got about 30 seconds with you, and I'll throw this one to you. You can close us out. But 74 million Americans are not just going to go away, those that voted for Trump. Clearly, the idea to storm the Capitol, that was wrong. It's damaging to the conservative movement, to say the least. But where now do Trump supporters and Republicans that support him go from here?
I think what they have to do is continue to support constitutional government, peaceful protest, make it clear that they abhor violence, that they want nothing to do with the people that have anything to do with it, that they support the ideas of the president, that they believe in free enterprise, that they believe in freedom of speech, that this effort to deplatform people and take away their voice is a serious mistake, that it will lead to disconcert in an open society. We need more free speech, not less.
All right, we'll leave it right there. I appreciate it. Adam Guillette, good to see you as always. Joe